Marie-Antoinette's marriage to Louis-Auguste of France, who would later become Louis XVI of France, stands as one of the most significant and controversial unions in European history. This marriage, arranged for political reasons, was meant to solidify the alliance between France and Austria, but it ultimately became a focal point of public scrutiny, social unrest, and political intrigue. The story of their marriage is intertwined with the larger narrative of the French Revolution, which would eventually end both their reign and their lives. The marriage of Marie-Antoinette and the future Louis XVI was a dynastic arrangement designed to secure peace and strengthen the political ties between France and Austria, two powerful nations that had long been rivals. The union was arranged by Marie-Antoinette's mother, Maria Theresa of Austria, who was keen on solidifying Austria's position in European politics after the 7 Years' War. Maria Theresa, who became Empress of Austria in 1745, was focused on ensuring the survival of the Habsburg monarchy. Her son Joseph was groomed for leadership in Austria, but her daughters, including Marie-Antoinette, were strategically married off to various European monarchs to protect Austria's interests. The marriage to the heir of the French throne, Louis-Auguste, was designed to end the historic rivalry between France and Austria, promoting peace between the two powers and ensuring that France would not threaten Austrian security in the future. Thus, the match was not one of love, but one of diplomacy. Both Maria Theresa and King Louis XV of France saw the union as a necessary political step in the volatile landscape of 18th century Europe. In the broader geopolitical sense, Marie-Antoinette's marriage symbolized the end of an era of hostilities between the two countries, consolidating their political and military influence across the continent. Marie-Antoinette was just 14 years old when her marriage to Louis-Auguste was arranged, and at the age of 15, she would have to leave her home country behind to meet her future husband, whom she had never met, in France. So on April 21st, 1770, Marie-Antoinette embarked on a journey that would take her from Vienna to the French court at Versailles. Her departure from Vienna was marked by elaborate ceremonies and grand celebrations, emphasizing the importance of this marriage for both Austria and France. The journey was long and arduous, lasting several weeks. When Marie-Antoinette crossed the border into France, she was greeted with great fanfare. The next day, she formally met her future husband, Louis-Auguste, for the first time. The wedding of Marie-Antoinette and Louis-Auguste was a grand affair. The couple was married at the Château of Versailles with the entire French court in attendance, so Marie-Antoinette could be formally introduced. The event was meticulously planned, but the focus of the ceremony was not the bride and groom's personal relationship, but rather the political importance of the match. The wedding night itself, though eagerly anticipated by the public, was fraught with difficulties. The young couple had little to no experience in matters of intimacy, and the marriage was not consummated immediately. The lack of consummation during the wedding night became a subject of much gossip and speculation at the French court, with many assuming that the royal couple's union was destined to remain childless. Indeed, the early years of the marriage between Marie-Antoinette and Louis XVI were marked by unrest, not in the least due to the absence of an heir being born. The royal couple's inability of procreating became a subject of scandal and embarrassment at the French court, where it was expected that royal marriages would produce heirs to the throne as quickly as possible. Marie-Antoinette faced immense pressure from her mother, Maria Theresa, to ensure that the marriage would produce an heir. The French public also became increasingly critical of the situation, viewing the lack of offspring as a failure of the monarchy and a potential threat to the future of the Bourbon dynasty. Marie-Antoinette herself was criticized for her perceived inability to fulfill her marital duties, and her reputation began to suffer. As time progressed, Marie-Antoinette in particular increasingly became a target of intense public scrutiny. As the Queen of France, she was expected to adhere to the highest standards of behavior, yet she was often seen as a foreigner who failed to understand the needs and expectations of the French people. The lavish spending associated with her courtly lifestyle, including her famous Petit Trianon and the extravagant fashion choices, fueled rumors and resentment. In a time where France was facing financial difficulties, Marie-Antoinette's perceived indifference to the hardships of the common people contributed to her negative image. In the years following their marriage, the royal couple's relationship became further strained. While they did eventually have 4 children, the tension between their public roles, personal issues, and the political crisis in France would continue to cast a shadow over their reign. While the marriage initially served its diplomatic purpose, the political and financial situation in France continued to worsen in the years after the wedding. The lavish court, the failure to resolve the financial crises, and the growing disparity between the nobility and the common people all contributed to the revolutionary sentiment that would culminate in the French Revolution of 1789. Louis XVI and Marie-Antoinette were seen as symbols of the excesses and corruption of the monarchy. As the revolution grew stronger, the royal family were imprisoned. In 1792, the monarchy was abolished and the couple was put on trial. Louis XVI was executed by guillotine on January 21, 1793, and just 10 months later, on October 16, 1793, Marie-Antoinette was also guillotined. The marriage of Marie-Antoinette and Louis XVI was a complex and tragic chapter in French history. The marriage, initially conceived as a political alliance to strengthen France's international position, ended in disaster. The tragic fates of both Louis XVI and Marie-Antoinette serve as a reminder of the fragile nature of power and the way in which the personal lives of these royals became inextricably linked with the fate of the nation. Nowadays, their marriage is perceived as an important symbol of the turbulent period that led to the collapse of the French monarchy and the rise of modern republicanism. However, in modern times, the legacy of Marie-Antoinette in particular evolved from one of disdain and public scorn to a more sympathetic understanding of her tragic life and death. Thank you for watching.